Hello everybody. I actually have a good video today. This one should be pretty exciting. This is going to be a topic on the my experience with nerve damage as a result of my nitrous oxide abuse, but kind of explaining part of it because I like the scientific stuff. So if you guys like this video or this was helpful, please like the video, subscribe if you haven't already. Really helps grow my channel and kind of also helps me see, like, you guys are interested in this sort of thing, and maybe hopefully motivates me to make more videos like this. But yeah, I haven't just found out about this, but I've known about this for a little while, but it's still pretty new. I haven't really talked about this in any of my previous nitrous oxide like nerve damage videos. So this condition, or I guess this sign is I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly, but Lhermitte's sign. It was a kind of a diagnostic test by some like French neurologist or something like that. And it's a symptom or a sign of nerve damage, particularly I guess dealing with the spinal cord. Whether that's, I think I've read like compression or demyelination, which is what happened with me. The reduction of the insulation of the nerve fibers. And that happens because of vitamin B12 deficiency. I'll probably get into that in a little bit. And, yeah, apparently it's like, characteristic or like a classic sign of people that have multiple sclerosis, but it can also be it could occur from other cases of nerve damage, one of those being the B12 deficiency. So pretty much it's a pretty simple test. Apparently I shouldn't say apparently, I guess the reason why I'm excited about this is because this has happened to me, and for quite a long time I didn't know that there was an actual term for this. I just thought it was like just part of my delusions. But essentially you have the person flex, like look downward, and if they do have a positive Lhermitte sign, they'll have like this electric shock or tingling go down their spine or through their extremities. For me, it was kind of just like mostly my whole torso. I wouldn't say it was just for it was a lot of it was in my spine, but I kind of just felt it like throughout my whole body. Yeah, so that's a bad thing. That's a really bad thing. But yeah, so before I kind of get into that a little bit more, my experience with it, just a little backstory for those that, maybe this is the first time you've seen a video on my channel, or, it's just been a while since I've last talked about my nerve damage experience with the nitrous oxide. So for me, I did end up abusing quite a lot of nitrous oxide. I mean, I won't really go into exactly how much, but like it was a daily abuse thing for like weeks and going on for months. Anywhere from like 800 to 1200 of those 8-gram cartridges inhaled with a dispenser, like a whipped cream dispenser, obviously without the whipped cream. And I would do them back to back, and so a substantial amount of abuse. I'm not saying this can't happen like from occasional use. I think everyone should be mindful of the risks when it comes to abusing nitrous oxide or anything else for that matter. I think people should be able to make an informed choice, different than like maybe skydiving, for example. But for me, I didn't experience nerve damage until I had a substantial amount of abuse. I was abusing so much that even when I wasn't actively using it for like days or up to a few weeks at the worst, after like last use, I would still be experiencing symptoms of mania and psychosis, a lot of delusions, a lot of paranoid behavior. And so yeah, that's why I said, so like for me, I didn't realize it was like I was experiencing nerve damage at the time. I was well aware of the risks, about how nitrous oxide inactivates vitamin B12, and if you go a sustained amount of time without vitamin B12 or very little vitamin B12, it has disastrous effects on a lot of areas on your body. One of those being the maintenance of those the myelination on the nerve fibers. So if you go long periods without it, your nerves are going to start breaking down, and then you're going to start experiencing nerve damage. And for me, I was experiencing the Lhermitte sign. It's really hard to say because this was back in 2020, spring of 2020. So it's been already over 4 years, and my memory, of course, is not spectacular in general, let alone the memory of the experiences back then, just because obvious reasons of just wrecking my brain with the nitrous oxide abuse. So it's really hard to say, but I would say I was having the Lhermitte sign for like 2 to 3 weeks before I had my sudden onset of nerve damage to the point where I couldn't walk. I was temporarily disabled for a few weeks in terms of not being able to walk or stand. I couldn't stand or walk. I did have to kind of crawl around my apartment just to kind of get around. And then over time, I did finally fortunately recover over, a period of a year and a half, to be 99, I'd like to call it 99% normal. It's pretty much almost normal. But if I get fatigued or overexert myself, I can get a little wobbly still. But yeah, so for the first few weeks, I couldn't walk or stand. I did have pretty significant weakness in both of my extremities, mostly my lower extremities, but even with my hands, I couldn't surmise enough strength to open a bag of chips, for example, just because my nerve fibers, the demyelination was so severe that I just couldn't do that. And my foot was totally useless, just total drop foot, which is I would assume mostly why I couldn't walk or stand, because it's if your foot can't get the signals to be firm and balance, you're not going to be able to stand. So yeah, for a few weeks I was limited to crawling around, and then over several weeks I was able to start finally getting to my feet, but I did have to kind of hold myself up, pull myself up on a counter, for example, so kind of shuffle over to a counter and then grab onto a counter and pull myself up. And I could stay standing as long as I didn't let go, but I still couldn't balance well enough without holding on to it. And so obviously walking without any sort of assistance was out of the question. But yeah, fortunately, eventually, with enough time of, for me, I encourage anyone that's watching this that is experiencing something similar, to go seek medical treatment, medical help. I did go to the emergency room, but I only did at the behest of my friend who wanted me to go. I knew at that point there's really nothing that could be done. I mean, I personally thought I was going to be disabled for the rest of my life. which I didn't really mind at the time, because, you know, I just really had no desire to live. But I thought, like, with most nerve damage, that's like irreversible, like you're screwed. And I guess that wasn't the case, at least, you know, you know, after having this YouTube channel over the past few years, I've talked with other people that have also recovered from their nitrous oxide abuse, other nerve damage. Sorry, this is like all over the place, but it's just like so hard. There's just so much to talk about. It's really hard to like be focused, especially again when my memory's just kind of not so great. Anyways, so yeah, I was experiencing the Lhermitte sign for several, like at least a few weeks, probably like I said, 3 weeks before, and I thought, like, because I was delusional and like paranoid, I thought like I had this like demonic energy, or like this dark energy, and that's what the buzzing was. Like, it was just like such an intense feeling. It didn't hurt, but it was like this just nasty, it just felt like I had this like huge amount of like nasty energy, and it didn't help that like a few times when I was experiencing that, like bad things would happen. You know, looking back, obviously coincidental. I mean, I guess I still kind of wonder, you know, because, you know, I don't know, reality is just so complex and, you know, unusual sometimes. But you know, like I just had like lights like blow out in my kitchen, you know, when I was experiencing that. I did end up going to the airport. My parents had heard what was happening, and they wanted me to go to fly out to them in another state to see them, you know, so they can help me. I only stayed for 1 day because I was paranoid. I was having a cat grass delusion. I thought they were doppelgangers, and you know, they were demons, and, you know, wanting to just kill me and take my soul. But in the airport, like, I was having that buzzing feeling, and like every computer I went to like check in, like the screen would turn on and then it would just shut off. So that's why I was just like, what the fuck? Like, you know, I have like all this like crazy energy, like, but yeah, I never knew like it was because, you know, it was a symptom of, you know, demyelination of my spinal cord nerves. So yeah, I don't know, I just thought it was kind of interesting. You know, I'm sure there's other people that have experienced it. Like I said, you know, I do encourage people to go get help. I went to the emergency room and was just there for like a few hours, and they pretty much told me like, yeah, you know, there's not much we can do. The thing is, they prescribed me vitamin B12, but I never went and filled the prescription, mostly because I just couldn't really get around. I thought at that point it had been useless or pointless to take it like after the fact. So I never took vitamin B12 for like any of the time, you know, of post abstinence of the nitrous oxide and you know, my subsequent physical recovery from the nerve damage. Also, I never did physical therapy. I never had any imaging done. That's one regret. They did want to refer me to get some imaging done, I assume, so they can look at like my spinal column. I think they wanted to do like an MRI or something. And I never went, but it would have been interesting to go see like how bad and like exactly where, you know, the nerve damage was. But I never did. I bring that up because it's like, you know, I encourage, especially those watching this video, please like seek medical treatment. But I don't know, I guess I'm just saying, like, for me, like, even without that, any assistance in that regard, I was able to recover. And I'm not saying, you know, just because I was able to recover, everyone's going to be able to, but I think there's a good hope, especially, you know, if you just, I guess the main thing is stop using nitrous oxide, obviously, but for those that, you know, struggle with addiction, as you know, it's not that easy, especially when you have the like kind of delusional, manic behavior. Just like everything becomes entangled. It's like, I don't know, it's hard to describe. Maybe another video. Yeah, so one thing they did do in the ER, though, they did test, they did do some blood work. My vitamin B12 at the point, by the time I had gone into the emergency room, it was already like, I think like 3 or 4 weeks. I was able to start walking, like if I held on to something, but it wasn't like immediately after, you know, my the initial like quick onset of the of not being able to walk. Again, looking back, if I'd known about the Lhermitte sign, I would have been like, oh, well, I'm already experiencing symptoms of nerve damage, like I should really stop or I should really seek help. But I didn't. And then of course then the sudden onset, I think it was all the walking that I did in the airport to going to my parents' and on the way back. I think because I hadn't walked like pretty much for like the past several months beforehand, it was wake up, go to the store, get nitrous oxide, come back, do it, and then like feel like I was on the verge of an epiphany, go back to the store, get a bunch more, come home, do it, rinse and repeat for, you know, every 24 hours. And I wasn't getting any, I wasn't eating, I wasn't getting any exercise. So I think that's why the inability to walk, that nerve damage was so quick. It was like right after getting back from the airport. So I think like all that walking, like my nerves were already pretty bad, and all that walking just like threw it into overdrive. One last thing I'll say too. So, oh yeah, so they did my vitamin B12 at this point. It was like a month after, like I said, which is where I was going with that. B12 was fine, which was interesting. But then they did take my methylmalonic acid level, and that was like 10 times past the like high end of the reference range. And that's a metabolite in your, pretty much it's another marker of vitamin B12 deficiency, because if your body's deficient with vitamin B12, it can't do certain metabolic pathways, and then so there's a buildup of the methylmalonic acid, which is why it was so high. So B12 was normal, but you know, the methylmalonic showed indications of you know, B12 deficiency, and then, you know, obviously with the symptoms, nerve damage. Yeah, so I don't know, like, sorry this wasn't a little more organized, but like I don't know, I had this like excitement and motivation to do a video, and I figured I would take advantage of it while I still had it. So yeah, I hope this was somewhat entertaining. Again, I think it's interesting, and you know, if I had known this before, you know, maybe this could have altered things a little bit. Probably not. I probably wouldn't have given a shit. But you know, who knows? I don't know. And I guess also, you know, just doing this video, like, for those that like are past that point too, like I was, you know, it is possible to recover. So yeah, I don't know. Let me know what you guys think of the video. Again, you know, please like and subscribe, you know, if this was interesting. You know, I don't know, it just like makes me more excited to like talk about more nitrous oxide videos. You know, other than me just rambling about how I'm like life is the same, like my recovery's going well and blah 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 blah. So and then also I need to do a YouTube video and have my introduce my roommate, because I asked him like a week or two ago. He said he would be down for that. So maybe one of these days I'll get them on camera. But yeah, anyways, let me know if you like it. I'll try and do more nitrous oxide nerve damage videos. Yeah, I guess I will see you guys next time.